Good evening. Welcome to the Cynthia Jones reality talk show. No scripts, no cue cards, because we are bringing it to you live, straight from the top. Now, mind you, you are welcome to be a part of our conversation because we are stirring up the truth in 2016. Because I do what I do when I do what I do. So our first topic for this new year is on healthy relationships. Now, somewhere in all of our lives, we have experienced an unhealthy relationship. So don't play. Just tell the truth. Now, when we think about defining what is healthy and what is unhealthy, we can relate to some of our own personal experiences because we all have our own story to tell. So let's take it slow, little by little, and let's examine how we can get to a healthy relationship. For instance, when you think about an unhealthy relationship, somebody's story may be they went through verbal abuse. Somebody else went through a mental abuse. Somebody else may just went through some emotional abuse. But whatever it may be, it was abusive. It was unpleasant. It was an experience you did not like. So that's what we want to focus in on for the new year. When we think about healthy relationships, we think about male to female, female to male. Also, it could be a sister to sister, brother to brother, mother to daughter, father to son. Or it could have been someone that just fell away from the church. But whatever it may be, we want to make sure that we are building healthy relationships. Now, in order to build a healthy relationship, we must take ownership of where we all fell off the mark. Say, for instance, you think about a relationship, a male to female or female to male. Let's just say that it wasn't a pleasant experience, but somewhere in the relationship, somebody began to fall off the mark. Meaning, it could have been more arguments, it could be more verbal abuse, and the person been trying to tell you through the whole relationship that they are feeling very uncomfortable. They're feeling unloved. They're feeling unappreciated. And so that draws them into insecurity. When you think about being insecure, you think about in your childhood life where your mom or your daddy gave you security. They gave you protection. You knew that every day and every night you had somewhere to go. So in your relationship, you're looking for that same security. But somewhere, somebody began to miss the mark. So we want to discuss how can we work through these insecurities. And one way we could work through these insecurities is talking, through conversating, through making ourselves more understood in the relationship. I think a lot of times as we are building relationships, we fail to see the other person as important. Their conversation just as important as our conversation. Our feeling is important than their feelings. So we got to be very mindful when we think about insecurity. We got to make sure that we're making them feel like they have that support. When you think about security, you think about when you go to a place of residence or a place of occupation and they have the sign security. Whether you see security in the yard or whether you see security on the post of a door, it makes you feel protected. And a lot of times in relationships, we don't make the other person feel protected. It could be protected from a conversation. A lot of times you're sharing a lot of pertinent information with the other person. You're spending a lot of quality time with the person. And then time something go wrong in the relationship, you reveal those pertinent information that they share, and that is so unfair. So we want to be mindful that we are careful not to indulge the protection that we set around our relationship. And if by chance you and the person do not make it through on the long haul, it's okay. Still respect that person as an individual. Still respect that person as you want them to respect you. Don't go out and indulge in telling other people some of the private moments that you and the other person spent together. Don't go out in anger and in haste and reveal the sweet conversations that you all built together. Don't do that. You have to work at a healthy relationship. And security is one of the ways that you can get through. You have to get to the point where you have to understand that the person that you're dealing with is just important as you are. Their emotions, their feelings, their thoughts is just important as it is that you want them to protect you. So that's what I would like for us to focus in on. Helping each other get through the insecurities. Another thing that I would like to elaborate on to make a healthy relationship, and please do not get caught up in this particular game, this particular mindset. We have a lot of people that say, well, I really want to know if he loved me. Or the male may say, I want to know if she loves me. And what he or she will do is get other people involved. Saying, well, she don't know that I know you and you don't know her. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get you to see if she'll talk to you or see if you can talk to her. And next thing you know, you're trying to catch her up in a situation to find out how much she really loves you. That causes insecurity. And even when she thinks that you love her, she go to her girlfriend and say, well, listen, I want you to play around with his emotion just to see if he'll give you some type of play, if he'll take you out to dinner, or if he'll conversate with you on the phone. Don't put your mate in that position. Don't put the one that you say that God is placing you with, or the one that you're interested with. Don't put them in that particular situation. That's not healthy. So we're striving to build healthy relationships, not tear them down. So remember, when you're building a healthy relationship, whether it be male to female, female to male, don't play these silly games that will catch each other up to find out whether he or she love or like you. You take them on their word, you work at it, you talk, you spend a lot of quality time, and once you do these things, then you can see where it's going to go. If it goes past a year, 2 or 3 years, and it goes toward marriage, then you take it to another level. Then you respect them at another level because you have made it through the insecurity point. Now, if you're working in the aspect of a healthy relationship, whether it could be family to family. Let's say it's a sister to sister, and there have been some type of misunderstanding, a brother to brother. It's been a misunderstanding. Mother to daughter, it's been a misunderstanding. Father to son, it's been a misunderstanding. How can we rebuild our relationship when it's been a misunderstanding? And I found out it's through conversation, through much prayer, and trusting in God. If you feel as though you maybe in the relationship caused the relationship not to be as strong as it can be, then it's up to you to go call the person or go to the person, set up a meeting, set up a dinner, set up a lunch dinner, set up breakfast, so that you can talk about these issues so that we can all begin to build healthy relationships toward our families and our friends and even in our community, so it can go with us when we are dealing with people on our job or even in the church. So if you are dealing with a situation and you know that you had a person that's been wonderful and you have great times, but it's something going on and you all are not as close as you used to be, then that's a sign that you need to work on building a healthy relationship. And there are a few things that I did point out that I would like to discuss with you. But at this time, I would definitely like to give you some information so that you can share in with this conversation, whether it be through email or Facebook, or whether it be just viewing it on YouTube. The way you can email me your questions or comments and even some upcoming topics that you would like to discuss, you can email me at misseventplanner1@gmail.com. Again, that is MSEVENT planner, PLANNER1@gmail.com. I would love for you to share in this conversation. Hopefully that we can get a worldwide conversation going on healthy relationships, and we can be more cognitive about how we treat other people. Also, if you're looking from Facebook, you can Facebook me, Cynthia Jones. On YouTube, it'll just be the Cynthia Jones reality show. Again, we're talking about healthy relationships. Now, we know that we're going into the month, or we're already into the month of February. And that is labeled to be the month of love. Now, when we think about love, everybody got their own different definition of love. Some people love you only because you have money. Some people love you because you buy them materialistic things. But everybody needs to understand their place in love. One way we could do this is by sharing with the person that you are interacting with and tell them your likes and your dislikes, your interests, your disinterests, things that bother you, things that make you happy, things that make you sad. These are the things that we can better build our relationships on if we learn how to talk, if we learn how to communicate with each other about the likes and the dislikes. I think we can get past the insecurities of making a person feel like they're not important, because we all are important. And as we push past the abuse or the mental or the physical abuse that some of us have received, we can move forward to understanding what can we do to better make that person understand who we are, as well as trying to find out who they are. Amen? So building healthy relationships in our families and our friends and even in our communities, we need to make sure that we're mindful of how we are talking to people, how we conversate, how we interact with each other. And so when we think about female to male or male to female, it's not real healthy that when you're dealing with a person and you're angry, and maybe say, for instance, you go to a family function and you bring out that emotion in front of your family, it's unfair to the other person because the person don't have anybody in their defense. You bring out, in the car we were arguing about this, or whatever. It could be financial, it could be the children, it could just be personal. And you wait until you get to your family's event, and then you want to bring the situation up. That is so unfair to the other person. We are trying to build, not tear down. So make sure that when you are having private moments of disagreements, don't bring other people involved in it. That's between you and the person, and you pray about it. You seek the face of God about it so God can intervene. God can give you an answer when nobody else can. Because you want to make sure that you keep it fair. You want to make sure that you're building and not tearing down. So make sure that when you are building these relationships, you're building on trust and not insecurities. When you are building these relationships, make sure you're not building them on your own way of thinking. But let's build these relationships on the fact that we have to respect each other. And as we push into the word respect, let's talk about that. Respect. What is respect? All of us have a definition of respect. I know as we were growing up, and I had the opportunity to meet a lot of wonderful people in my life, but it's no more than to see a man that can still open the door for his lady. That's respect. Some people say, oh, that's just outdated, that nobody's doing that anymore, you know. But you don't have to be like everybody else. You have to make your relationship work for you. It's all about respect. Young ladies, it's nothing no more than you still being able to cook. Oh, no, we don't do that anymore. We go out to eat. He had to take me out to eat. But it's nothing wrong with every now and again you cooking him a homemade dinner or breakfast or just a special time or go out to a picnic. It's nothing wrong with that. It's all about respect. You have to learn how to respect the other person as you want the other person to respect you. As we are understanding how to get along and talk about the likes and the dislikes. A lot of times some people say, well, I have a bad habit of doing certain things. Talk about it. Somebody may say, well, I don't like when you bite your lower lip. Somebody else said, well, I don't like when you fickle with your hair. Those should be minute things. They shouldn't be grandiose things that you gonna break up because he bites his lip and she flick her hair. Those are areas that can be workable. So make sure that when you're building a healthy relationship, don't allow small, minute things to get in the way of grandiose love. Things that could take you to a higher level. Places that you could go and people that you could see, all because you learn how to work over those bad habits. Amen? So we're talking about healthy relationships. Again, welcome to the Cynthia Jones Real Talk, where you are welcome to come in through Facebook, YouTube, or email me and share in this conversation in building healthy relationships. Healthy relationship does not mean just male to female or female to male. It could be family to family. It could be a sister and a brother. It could be some things that has happened between your children. It could be somebody that got hurt within the church and they're wounded and they don't want to go to anybody's church anymore. But it's going to take the love of God to draw them back to that place where they can trust again. So we are trying to build healthy relationships. And it is a worldwide situation where a lot of times, even as employees, you can go on your job. And there are situations that are occurring at your job. And you and your boss are not having a good relationship. Where remember, he or she is the boss. So you got to find ways to stay on that job so you can provide for your family. So you can secure your family with the right things that they need to move forward in this new year. You have to find ways to interact with other people. And when you do these things, you can build healthy relationships by conversating, understanding where the person is going. A couple of things that I did jot down that I would like to continue to elaborate on. And number one, we already discussed security. In a relationship, it doesn't matter what kind of relationship it is, you got to have security.